Aisling here from Off the Ball.
Hi, Aisling.
So it's been a frustrating period over the last month or so. How tough has it been to keep momentum when there's been no games?
Yeah, it's a bit of an unknown at the moment with no games. Slightly frustrating period, but at the same time, the guys have applied themselves unbelievably well. So they've worked on lots of different parts of our game over the last few weeks, and it's been nice and competitive in training as well. So it's been good for us. Still nothing quite beats games though, and everyone's looking forward to getting playing now. So there's a genuine excitement, I think, to get back, particularly back to the RDS. I know we're still restricted in terms of crowds, but for the 5,000 or so lucky ones that get to go, hopefully there's going to be a good day for them. And yeah, we're just excited to play now. So there's sort of, it's almost like there's two stories going on here at the moment. So there's the excitement levels to get back playing, because we know there's a lot of big games coming up, 2 European games, and the tournament means a huge amount to the club. So there's that piece, but then I suppose there's the frustration of what's gone on over the first couple of rounds of the tournament. So we're only in so much control of that. So it's for us making sure that we've control what we can, and that's very much been trying to train well, have nice competitive training sessions, which will hopefully serve us well for some of the challenges we have coming up now.
And just speaking on the training sessions, we were speaking to Andrew Porter during the week, and he said that the training has been tougher than ever. Do you feel like you have up the tempo because of no games?
Yeah, well, you've got to try and replicate a game somehow, and it's not easy. Particularly when the players know each other so well. So it's just trying to create some controlled scenarios, and the coaches here are excellent in terms of doing that. So, it's not perfect, but hopefully it serves us well over what we have coming up over the next few weeks. And even obviously because with games postponed now, we've more games coming during that Six Nations window than we would have originally had. So again, lots of guys will get opportunities, and it's going to be a big squad effort for us, not just the next couple of weeks, but obviously beyond that then as well.
And just speaking on the squad, Johnny Sexton, he's on the squad for Sunday. How far away is he from being able to complete 80 minutes?
Johnny's pretty good, so coming back from his injury, he's worked hard, he's trained well the last few weeks, and I said, we put all the players through those game scenario pieces, and he's come through that well. So hopefully he'll provide big impact off the bench for us this weekend, and that'll serve him well then for what's ahead over the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And Robbie Henshaw and Ryan Bird as well, they're probably the most notable absentees from the side this weekend.
Yeah, so both of those guys came back and they were training today, so just a little bit tight on time for the two of them. So they're there now, so they're both fit and available. But just the way the week went, and it's because we had certain training scenarios as we've talked about already. But those guys are back now, so they'll be in the mix now for next week.
And the last one from me is just on Dan Leavy. I know we'd heard he underwent a procedure to his wrist last week. How is he doing, and is there an estimated time on him?
I couldn't give you a specific time. It's a couple of months probably, I think. So yeah, it's a tough one for Dan. He would have been selected in a few of these games, and some of the games that we've had cancelled / postponed, he would have been involved in over the last couple of weeks in that Christmas period, pre-Christmas. So hugely frustrating for him. But Dan he's one of probably the most mentally strong guys that we would have in the group. So and he's come back from pretty significant injuries in the past. So for him, again, just trying to control what he can now. So he's already back in training, in terms of trying to stay strong and running, etc., etc. So really tough for Dan, but he'll come back strong, no doubt.
Brilliant, Leo. Thank you.
Thanks, Mel.
Leo, how's things? Shane from RTE here. Just a quick one on the COVID situation and the uncertainty of fixtures going forward. And I know Leinster know better than anyone else and what can happen in this competition and how it pans out. Is there an extra pressure that you feel, or is there an extra motivation that you may use to try and really have to get points on the board, considering we don't know what will happen going forward in next rounds of fixtures?
Well, that's what we talked about from the start. So Going into our first game against Bath, even we were frustrated at the end of that game because we probably let some opportunities slip later in the game, and weren't really clinical, particularly in that last 20 minutes, to try and push the score on. I thought the guys had started the game well, and even we put our hand up as coaches. Maybe we made some substitutions a little bit too early potentially in the game as well, which probably disrupted a little bit that cohesion that we had. The following week, as we know, hugely frustrating, and that's sort of feels like it's ever ongoing, and it's created a lot of frustration in the club because the tournament means so much to everybody here. I know there's some reports out there because our game the following week didn't take place against Munster, but I think it's important to state that there's other factors that play into that as well. So not just from a purely COVID point of view. So there's also national players and some obviously guys that were away the Lions have to get managed during that Christmas period. And it was interesting listening to Philippe Saint-André talk about his squads into their Montpellier were away in Exeter, and he talked about him being under pressure to manage some of their players, and it's almost like they prioritised the top 14 over Europe. And anyone that knows us here, we would be very much of a different trail of thought, as you're all aware, and so we would go full steam ahead for these European games and quite often manage guys at Christmas, as you've seen over many years now. So that's one of the factors that plays into that, and then you add in the close context of that time of year as well. So I'd like for people to try and separate those two thoughts in their head in terms of that decision that took place. But for us now, where we are, it's just trying to get back and control what we can, and that's kind of being dealt with at board level. So for us as a group, we've tried to work hard over the last few weeks, and we've great competition in the group. Everyone's looking forward to playing now, and for the lucky ones in the RDS, hopefully we'll get a great atmosphere, and we can try and get whatever we can out of this game this week and turn our attention into Bath, which is a short turnaround. And again, let's just go back to that squad effort piece. The role of the squad is going to be hugely important.
No, that's perfect. Thanks, Leo. Best of luck this weekend.
Cheers, thank you.
Hi Leah, how's it going? Anne-Marie here from Virgin Media Sport. There's two schools of thoughts about how long breaks can impact high performance teams. Plenty say obviously a physical mental break can only be a good thing, but on the other hand we've seen teams struggle to reach the same levels they've been at before. Where do you stand on this? Has break been a good thing for you, do you think?
I don't know. Well, we would have preferred to play games, that's one thing we know for certain. I love this block of Christmas games that the provincial teams or club teams have to play, because you've big European games, you've derby games, like this is a normal course of events, you've derby games, and so there's a huge intensity, you've festive season crowds and all the rest as well, which add to that sense of occasion, and it's quite an attritional battle when you do it week on week. So this year is completely different because we've had a number of games cancelled or postponed. So nothing beats the excitement of playing the games, but we try to use the time when we get it as well as we possibly can. So in many ways it's like a little bit of a mini pre-season for guys, and even the session here this morning I said to the coaches, it has that sense of the first game of the season again. So in terms of later in the season, hopefully we get that, I guess, that energy and freshness back, so if that makes sense. We'll wait and see. It's sort of that uncertainty at the moment is where we're sitting, but that's just adds to our sense of excitement for the game now. So looking forward to getting going.
We heard from Robin McBride during the week. He said the break gave you a chance to work on a couple of new things. Obviously we'll see Carl Martin tomorrow making his debut. Do you think you might have a few surprises up your sleeve in terms of set pieces and things like that?
Sorry, will Montpellier have a few surprises?
No, a few surprises from you, things you've worked on during the break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we've worked on various things. Yeah, over the course of the break. So, And the training time is to try to give us that chance to build some cohesion. But again, like in a game situation, the pressure, again, we weren't sure exactly what type of team Montpellier would have. We knew they had COVID cases last week. We knew they had COVID cases this week. So how that has disrupted their flow, I don't know. I see they've got some young players in. Carl came through with Jamie Osborne here with the Leinster youth. So I was talking to Carl before he made the move, and yeah, it's great to see him doing well over there. So we'll be watching him with extra interest for sure. But we've tried to prepare our guys as best as possible. We looked at that sort of template that Montpellier had when they went into Exeter, and if you look at their team, there's a lot of guys that will cross over from that day. So they kick the ball a lot. So a lot of pressure from their kicking game. So aerial, we need to be very, very good. They put a lot of pressure around the breakdown, so we need to be strong in that area as well. And obviously against French teams, always the set piece battle around scrum and line out maul in particular. So they're the areas that we've really tried to focus on.
Brilliant stuff. Last one for me then. Obviously the announcement during the week that those round 2 results will stand, including your 28-0 loss to Montpellier. Does that put a little more pressure on tomorrow or Sunday's game?
I think there'll be pressure in this game regardless, but yes, if you look at the league table, we can't afford any slip-ups at this point, can we? So, but that's good. We want pressure on us, and as I said, we're excited to get going now.
Great stuff. Best luck Sunday, Leo.
Thank you.
Leo, could you talk about the decision to play Jimmy O'Brien on the left wing and to put James Lowe starting on the bench?
Yeah, so James had a knock, so he was a bit more affected in terms of training-wise over the last couple of weeks. And Jimmy's gone well training-wise, so that's the logic there. But James, we'd expect to come into the action at some stage and provide good impact as well.
Thank you.
Just one quick one, Leo. Because Johnny was hoping to get back for the original Montpellier game, he was aiming for that. Is there any reason why he didn't start? I mean, last year when he was speaking after the La Rochelle game, he was thinking maybe he could have pushed himself for that if he had known how it was gone. Is there any risk in starting him on the bench? Are you happy that he's 100% fit? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. No, he's good, and I think again, similar to James, like Johnny will come on and provide great impact for us as well. And as I said, we've a game 6 days later away in Bath as well, so it's important that we're just making sure we're managing the group well. And Ross has been excellent for us as well. Ross would have played a number of those games over that Christmas period as well, so he's trained well during this block.